It's been nearly 50 years since the gold standard treatment for Parkinson's disease was introduced. And I'm very grateful for my pink and yellow pills. I simply couldn't go without them. But isn't it time for the next treatment evolution to occur? And what if the solution was as simple as pouring hot water over tea leaves? What if what we were looking for was under our noses the whole time in our kitchen pantries, just waiting to be discovered? Hi, it's David from Life with Parkinson's. If you're new here, welcome. We hope you'll consider subscribing. Everyone else, thank you for your continued love and support. This is episode 6 in our new series of Dave, what is going on? What has changed in your Parkinson's treatment plan? Because you look so much better. And I feel a lot better too. And I'm happy to share it with everyone. So at the end of this video, I'll put up a link to the previous episode in this playlist. And once you're done here, you can hop on over there and check out the other episodes. But we have a lot of exciting information to cover today, so let's get right to it. Okay, in the last couple months, I've been exploring 5 specific herbs for their benefits, and just to see what they can do for Parkinson's disease. They're chamomile, thyme, lemongrass, rosemary, and basil. And confession time, I have never been a tea drinker. I've never really been into the herbs and spices thing. Even when my grandma would give me sleepy time tea to go to sleep in the summer when I was at her house, I never really got into it. The water was always too hot. I would burn my mouth. And it got even worse when Haley and I, shortly after we got married, we were trying to find solutions to her endometriosis pain, and we ended up at the local acupuncturist. Well, she prescribed to help Haley what I would term the most foul-smelling concoction I've ever come across in my entire life. It was so bad that I had to take it outside, dump it in the ditch. And I swear, in the apartment building we were living in at the time, I swear they thought we were trying to burn the place down. I had to open all the windows. It was just a disaster. And the first time I really got into tea was when I got hooked on sushi. I would always order green tea with my meal, and it was really good. Nothing could prepare me for November 2024, when I bumped into this little research study done by Johns Hopkins Medicine, where they said we have added to the evidence that Farnesol, an organic compound, can reverse Parkinson's disease and even fix the damage done to the brain. But they did this study in mice and test tubes. Okay, so now I can feel the pushback coming because you're like, Dave, mice and test tubes, come on. That doesn't relate to humans at all. So there's just something I want to read you here about mice that will help answer your question. Research has shown that mice and humans share a significant amount of genetic material. In fact, it is estimated that around 99% of human genes have a mouse counterpart. This high level of similarity in the genetic makeup of mice and humans allows scientists to study the effects of certain genes and their associated diseases in mice. Okay, I know there's differences as well. Okay, one is just not as big as the other. We don't need to go to Sesame Street to prove that. But having an animal model that close to humans can provide a lot of interesting information and help researchers decide what the next step is. Okay, to answer the test tube part of the pushback, it's a little harder because the words are really big here. But I'm going to try and summarize this down a little bit so that I can understand it. I need to mention that Farnesol works by deactivating the protein Paris. And Paris is the protein that causes all the problems in our brain and advances the disease. Farnesol was found to be highly effective in elevating PGC-1A levels even when Paris levels were abnormally high. PGC-1A does a lot of work in our brains, protecting them as well as many other important functions. Basically, we need it. The potency in Farnesol doing this was due to its ability to farnesylate, or neutralize, Paris altogether. Okay, pass me a cup of tea then. Well, if the answer was that simple, we wouldn't be sitting here right now having this discussion. Okay, let's get back to the 5 herbs that I've been looking at and doing a lot of self-experimentation with. And I don't recommend that everybody do that. You know, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a person with Parkinson's doing the best with the information that I'm trying to pass on. Saying that, I do want to share my results with you guys. It's just, I'm not a doctor. So, what is Farnesol? Farnesol is an organic compound that is a component of vitamin K that's found in things like peaches and other stone fruit, berries, certain vegetables like corn and tomatoes, and certain herbs like lemongrass, thyme, and chamomile. It's also widely used in the perfume industry, and it's found in like rose, musk, and citronella. And just so that everybody knows, I've got resources in the description below for everything we're talking about. So if you want to look at the individual properties of all the herbs, I've got links down there. And of course, links to everything else that we're talking about. So we're not going to dive into everything. We're not going to dive into all the individual properties of every herb. Okay, so you probably noticed that not all of the herbs were on the Farnesol list. That's because there's another organic compound I ran into when I began to look into this called Luteolin. It's a little bit different than Farnesol. It's got a lot of the same properties, but it's got some extra ones that I'm very interested in. On its own, it has the ability to kill certain cancer cells, and it also is like a super antioxidant for the brain. It helps encourage and facilitate the function of glutathione in our brain. And glutathione is something we've talked about before. It's basically the most powerful antioxidant we have in our body to protect our brain, and it's highly important. Okay, so where can we get luteolin? Well, it's in all of the 5 herbs except lemongrass. So it's in rosemary, chamomile, thyme, basil, and it's also in oregano. And it's found in a lot of different fruits and vegetables as well, like apples, carrots, pumpkins, lemons. So while I think it's really important to know about these 2 compounds, the problem becomes is it possible to eat enough of this stuff to make a significant difference? And probably not, but I would rather get like a 10 or 15% benefit than nothing. And I also think it's important that research be put into these because they're right there. They're right there sitting under our noses. And if they help this much in like research studies, I wonder what they can do in the real world. And if we concentrate on the foods and herbs that have both luteolin and farnesol, we're going to double our impact and hopefully get a better benefit. And the other thing to consider here is it's not very expensive to do. It's not very expensive to go out and buy some tea. It's not very expensive to like just include food that has both farnesol and luteolin. And what strikes me about when natural substances like this come up is that the scientific community really just kind of yawns it off. And that bothers me a little bit because you think about it, when COVID hit, everyone was trying to find a vaccine. Everyone was working together. And when you pool all that expertise and knowledge in the research world, you get an answer pretty quick. Like we had a vaccine come very quickly. So why can't this happen for things like Parkinson's disease when we have such an obvious candidate as a solution? Why can't we pool our resources worldwide to solve this problem? I mean, the answer is right there. It's so close, and it just gets my goat, and I get a little bit frustrated when I think about things like Farnesol and Luteolin. Now, I did find information that a research initiative is happening, but I don't know how big it is, and I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm going to continue to experiment to see if I can get a clear result from one of these teas or foods. Okay, like I said earlier, the link should now be up for the previous episode in this series of Dave, What's Changed in Your Parkinson's Treatment Plan. So when you're done there, you can hop over there and I will see you. But for now, thank you for continuing to take this journey together. Thank you for liking, watching, subscribing, and sharing this video with your family and friends. Leave a comment or a question below. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day. Goodbye.